and regulation which are required if you are a text preparer, and what are the various penalties that is associated with the text preparer if he understates certain text liability or obtains certain frivolous position on the text return. So we are left with only these two slides which contain, first is role of State Board of Accountancy. So what is the role of your state board? So if you are enrolled with any of the state board of US, so what is their role actually? So primary function of State Board of Accountancy are license issuance and renewal. So state board is basically responsible for your license. Okay, so when to issue your license, when to renew it, enforcement of professional standards, investigation and disciplinary actions, oversight of CPA firm, monitoring continuing professional education, regulation of CPA title use, coordination with NASPA and AICPA, mobility and practice privileges. So these are some of the role of State Board of Accountancy. So State Board of Accountancy is basically issue your CPA license. They enforce ethical requirement like CPE requirement, professional standards, regulation of CPA title use. Okay, they also have the power, like if there is some misconduct happens, they also have the power to revoke your license. Next, difference between your IRS oversight and state board. So basically, IRS look for people who practice before the IRS, whereas your state board regulate the license, auditing, public accountancy, and ethical conduct of CPA, whether they are employed or whether they are practicing. Okay. So example scenarios. First is negligent audit board may suspend license and impose CPE. So in case like someone is found to be a negligent during the auditing of something, then in that case state board has the power to revoke your license, to suspend your license and impose CPE, means some continuing professional education requirement. Theft and fraud. So in case of any theft or fraud, they may revoke your license. CPE non-compliance. So if you are non-compliant with CPE requirements, like you have to maintain certain credits and you are not maintaining that, in case they can impose some penalties and mandatory course for you. Misuse of CPA title. If someone is found to misuse their CPA title, then they can seize and desist and put fines also. Okay, so next is key take away for CPA exam. State board basically, what is overall? State board basically enforce your standards, protect public interest, and regulate CPA licensing and discipline. Next is requirement of regulatory agencies. So there are some agencies which are actually performing the oversight role as a working as a regulatory agency. So what are their various requirements? Like SEC, PCAOB, IRS, and State Board, which basically establish rules that govern your financial reporting, auditing, tax practices, and professional conduct. CPA and tax professional must comply with these regulations to ensure transparency, investor protection, and compliance with federal and state laws. So, key regulatory agencies, basically, we talk about SEC. So, SEC is a Security and Exchange Commission which basically issues some standards, also look oversight the PCAOB. Okay, it oversees the public companies, require periodic filing. So if you are a public company, you have to file certain filings with the SEC, like 10K, which is filed annually, 10Q, which is filed quarterly, and 8K in case of any major transformation is happening within your company, then you have to file the form 8K. Enforces gap and adherence for public reporting, monitor auditor independence and disclosure. So basically, SEC look for PCAOB, Public Company Accounting Oversight Board, and they also look for auditor independence. So if you are a public if you are auditing a public company, then you have to follow certain standards which is issued by SEC also, SEC guidelines. They also look for auditor independence and disclosures requirements. Next is PCAOB. So Public Company Accounting Oversight Board is basically an body which is formed as a result of SOX Act. So what is the purpose of PCAOB? That if a firm is auditing a public company, then they have to accountable to the Public Company Oversight Board. It means this board will perform the oversight role for the firms which perform the audit of public companies, basically for issuers. So it regulate auditors of public company. It's set this auditing and quality control standard also. Conduct audit of audit firms. They also can inspect an audit firm. They also have certain rights, certain they also issue certain inspection report and sanctions for non-compliance. Okay, next is IRS. IRS is basically our internal revenue service, which actually issues the rules and regulation regarding taxation part, compliance part, and enforcement. It applies circular 230 rules to tax practitioner, which we already discussed, require accurate reporting, due diligence, and ethical conduct. Okay. So next again is your state board of accountancy. So whatever the board you are registered to, like Guam board, your California board, any board, then they have certain requirement for you. Like for CPA license, they issue CPA license based on your requirements. If you fulfill those requirements, then only they will issue the license. They also have certain CPE requirements, like which is continuing education requirement. They enforce professional conduct and discipline. They also govern CPA firm registration and peer review rules. Okay, next is common compliance requirement. Common compliance requirement means there are certain requirements which are common to all individuals. That means they have to maintain they have to maintain accurate financial statement. They must adhere to the applicable accounting framework, which is GAAP, and auditing standards. Maintain independence when performing the audit. They have to maintain their professional competence through CPE, continuing professional education. Maintain documentation and work paper as required. Follow ethical standards like integrity, objectivity, and due care. For example, a public company CPA must comply with PCAOB standards. So as you know, if you are a public company, then you have to follow PCAOB audit standards. Okay. For non-issuers, the standards followed is GAS standard, which is issued by AICPA. Okay. Ensuring public proper audit documentation and independence. The company must also submit accurate SEC filing requirement, which is 10K, 10Q, and 8K. If error or unethical behavior occur, the PCAOB or SEC may impose penalties or enforce corrective action. So these are the some of the requirement and some of the rights of various bodies. So any doubt in this topic? Any doubt?
No. So this notes is not circulated in the group, WhatsApp group.
Okay. Okay, I will circulate it. Okay, if you don't have any doubt in this topic, then we will do some questions. Okay, so please read the question number 1 and answer accordingly. According to the Treasury Circular 230, which of the following rules related to the prompt disposition of pending matter before the IRS applies to the CPA?
Option C.
Option? Which option?
C.
B. Okay, and Shravani,
Ma'am, last option D.
Not B. C. C.
B or D? Okay, so it is related to that if as a CPA, if you are a practicing as a CPA and IRS comes to you and asks you regarding certain information, so what will be your duty in that case? So if an IRS asks you certain uh, disposition of certain matters, so what is your duty?
Extension of time.
No.
Ma'am, last one.
Okay, please read the question carefully first. It is asking that if IRS asks you to dispose certain matter, means to take quick action against certain matter, certain case, then what it will be your duty in that case? You will ask for extension, or you will not delay the disposition, or you will ensure that concluded it within 3 years, or what? Okay. So please think that if IRS asks you to prompt the disposition of pending matters before the IRS, like if they ask you to take certain legal action quickly, then in that case, you has a duty that you may not unreasonably delay the prompt disposition of pending matters before the IRS. Okay, you will not ask for any extension or unnecessary delay the disposition. Is it clear? Is this clear?
Yes.
Okay, next question. A tax preparer has advised a company to take a position on its tax return. The tax preparer believed that there is 75% possibility that position will be sustained, means approved by IRS if audited by IRS. If position is not sustained, then a penalty, accuracy related penalty and late penalty will apply. So what is the tax preparer's responsibility regarding disclosure of the penalty to the company? If he believes that there is 75% probability that the position he has taken will be approved by IRS, so what will be his duty? He should disclose to the company, or he may not disclose this.
Option D. Disclose.
Yes. So since there is 75% possibility that position will be sustained. That- So in this case, the text preparer should have to disclose this penalties to the company. Okay, next question. When preparing a client's Form 1040 US individual income tax return, a CPA determined that there was documentation spotting only $12,000 of the 20,000 travel expenses claimed by the client. So a client asks you to prepare his tax return, and when you are asking for 20,000 travel expenses, they have only the proof of 12,000. Okay. Which of the following course of action taken by CPA would be in compliance with Treasury Circular 230? So, if you are a practitioner and you are preparing tax return, and for 20,000 travel expense, your client only has a proof of 12,000. So, what will you do in this case?
Can you show us option D?
Yeah, sure.
Option A.
Ma'am, option A.
Yes, correct. So, as a CPA, you have to like believe that the information provided by your client is correct. But in case you can't ignore the obvious error. So, if you are finding any incompletion of documents, then you can do the inquiry that if the information furnished appears to be incorrect or incomplete. So, if you are finding finding the errors, you can't really ignore those errors. Okay, you will ask them why this will not there. Next question. The State Board of Accountancy is only regulatory agency with the power to determine the. So your state board has the power to technical content of uniform CPA examination, your work experience required, passing score, your structure for CPA exam. So what do you think? Your state board conducts your examination or the AICPA?
Option D.
Okay, and Shravani?
Ma'am, last option.
Okay, this is correct. So your state board do not have the power to conduct your examination. So it is the AICPA which conduct the uniform CPA examination. But the license requirement is the license requirement and all the license issuance and all part will be taken by your state board. Next question. Which of the following bodies has the authority to suspend or revoke a CPA license for act discreditable to the profession?
Option B.
Yes, correct. So since your state board issues your license, so it also has the power to suspend or revoke your license. Next question. The only entity that can censor a CPA or revoke a license to practice as a CPA. I think this is the same question.
Option C.
And Shamni, yes, correct. So it is the state board which issue or revoke your license. Next question. A client claims to have driven 50,000 miles for business purposes during the preceding year and wishes to deduct all the mileage. The CPA suspected client is overstating the amount of mileage actually driven for business purposes. So, according to the Treasury Department Circular 230, what is your duty?
Option C.
Okay, and Shavni? Yes, correct. So it is the option number C. He can do some inquiries if he found any incorrection in the information. Next question. Which of the following statement is correct regarding the use of preparer tax identification number by tax return preparers? So what is the use of PTIN number basically? Who required the PTIN number?
Option C.
Accounting firm?
Or individual.
No, accounting firm may not require the PTI number for all of its CPAs. It is required for the person who actually is a tax preparer, means he is preparing the tax return for compensation. Okay, so correct answer should be B. Okay, if you are preparing for your family member or you are preparing just for free of charge, then in that case you will not be a tax preparer, so you do not require any PTI number. So it is required only by those who are actually preparing it for compensation. Next question. Which of the following situation would most likely be a violation of Treasury Circular 230 solicitation guidelines by CPA?
Option A.
And Shravani? Okay. So option A is the correct. Yes. In case if so, you have to tell that which of the following situation most likely be a violation of Treasury Circular 230 solicitation guidelines. So if a CPA sent unsolicited emails to potential client guaranteeing tax refund from the IRS, so it is not allowed. Therefore, it is a violation of the Circular 230. Next question. Lawson asked CPA discovered material non-compliance with specific IRS requirement in the prior year return of a new client. So, which of the following action should Lawson take?
Ma'am, option D.
Okay, and Dhanashri,
One.
option 1. So, if you are finding any errors in the prior year return, so what will be your duty? You will discuss this matter to IRS or you will discuss this matter to your client.
Option D.
Yes, correct. You will discuss this to the client. Okay, you can tell them about the consequences. You can recommend the action required. Next question. When a CPA is preparing tax return for FLIC, a new client, during the course of interview, Banner asked to inspect FLIC source document. So FLIC respond that the spotting information is not readily available, but assure Banner that the summary information is reliable. So, which of the following statement best describes how Banner should proceed? So, he's asking for certain information, but that information is not available. Instead, they are giving you the summary.
Option D.
Okay. And yes, your right answer is option number D. So you can accept the representation, but you can also make certain inquiries if you are finding the information to be incorrect or incomplete. Okay, any doubt in this question?
No, ma'am.
Okay, next question. To avoid tax return preparer penalties for a returns understated tax liability due to an intentional disregard of regulation. So which of the following action must a tax preparer take? So if you want to avoid tax return preparer penalties, okay, so then what will be your course of action? Like if your
Option
client,
D.
Last option.
yes, correct, you can make inquiries if the taxpayer information is incomplete. Next question. Under circular 230, which of the following action of a CPA tax preparer is characteristic of a best practice in rendering tax advice?
Option C.
Okay, and Shravani?
Ma'am, option C.
Okay. So both of you are asking for option C. Yes, it is correct. So as a CPA, your duty is to establish relevant fact, evaluate the reasonableness of assumption and representation, and arriving at a conclusion which should be supported by law and fact in text memorandum. Next question. Which of the following body ordinarily would have the authority to suspend or revoke C a CPA license to practice public accounting?
Option D.
D option.
Yes, correct. So your state board has the right to revoke your CPA license. Next question. Which of the following situation would result in preparer penalty assessed by the IRS?
C.
Okay. Yes, correct answer is option number D. So if you do not sign the tax return, yes, you will be subject to the penalty which is assessed by the IRS. Next is in order to practice before IRS, a certified public accountant. So what will be the requirement if you practice before the IRS?
Option A.
Ma'am, option B.
Okay. So it's your final answer, option B and option A for Dhanashri. So correct answer will be option B, because if you want to practice before the IRS, then in that case your license should not be under suspension or disbarment from practice. Okay. So anyone who is not like whose license has not been suspended, or he who is not been disbarred from practice, then in that case he can practice before the IRS. Okay. Next question. Which of the following bodies has the authority to determine whether a candidate is qualified to sit for uniform CPA exam? So who will determine the eligibility?
The State Board of Accountancy. D.
Yes. So your eligibility requirement is determined by your state board, and your examination is conducted by the AICPA. So any doubt in this question or any other? Any doubt?
No.
Next question. Pursuant to Circular 230, which of the following statement about return of client record is correct?
Ma'am, option D.
Okay. And Dhanashri?
Option A.
Okay, so correct answer is your option number
Option
D.
D. Option D.
Yes. So he may retain the copies of client's record. Okay. This is incorrect that he cannot retain any client record if they are asking for return. Okay. Next question. Which of the following is a function of State Board of Accountancy?
Ma'am, option C.
Yeah, option C.
Okay. Yes. So your state board is responsible to censor CPA for violation of the Code of Professional Conduct. To oversee registration of public companies, this is a duty of PCAOB, Uniform CPA Examination, AICPA. Oversee audit of accounting firms, so it is also the duty of PCAOB. Okay, next question. Which of the following circumstances would a tax return preparer be prohibited from disclosing a client's tax return information? So I think this topic is not covered in your PDF. So it will be in your book. In since as a CPA, your duty is to maintain the confidentiality of the client's information. Okay, you can't give their information to anybody. But there are certain scenarios in which you can like give the client information without their consent. So what are these scenarios? These are basically if you have certain investigation authorized by your AICPA or state CPA society or state CPA state board of your accountancy. Okay. Second is if you have certain review of your professional practice, like it is a quality review which is done by your AICP or your state society, then in that case you can disclose your client information. Third is if there is certain inquiry raised by these bodies like AICPA, state CPA society, or state board of accountancy, or if there is a subpoena or summon which is coming from valid jurisdiction authorities. So in this case, you can disclose your client information. Apart from this, there are also like four cases, like if you have certain litigation, if you want to do some insurance of your CPA firm, if you has like if you are a prospective buyer of practice, or if there is a service provider, then in that case you can also disclose your client information without their consent. Otherwise you are prohibited from disclosing your client's information. So in this case, what should be the right answer? So what should be the correct answer? In which case you are prohibited from disclosing your client's return. tax return information. Okay, so the information will be used to prepare state or local tax return. So if you want to prepare tax return, what do you think? You can disclose the client information or you do not need to disclose?
Option A,
Okay, but if you want to prepare the return, then you have to disclose this information, no?
not third party, no. This
No,
is the
this option is not asking for third party. They are actually that if information is used to prepare state or local tax return, then in that case, yes, you can disclose. Next is if information is provided to section 501(c)(3) charity, charitable organization को अगर आप disclose करते हो तो is it prohibited or allowed?
court order is allowed, peer review is allowed. I think option B then.
Okay. And what about Shravani?
Ma'am, B.
Yes, correct. So peer review is allowed, and if there is someone subpoena or someone come from court, then it is allowed. And if you want to prepare the tax return, then it is allowed. Otherwise, you uh, you are prohibited from disclosing your client's information. Okay, so these were some of the questions. Any doubt in this topic or any doubt in any question?
No, ma'am.
And Dhanashri?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So how's your preparation, by the way, going on?
It's going good. I asked sir also to get the registration done for the exams.
Okay, so are you practicing some of questions?
Yeah, whenever I get time, I do.
Okay. So how much syllabus have you covered
The
from?
the chapters which we have completed on the same line, the revisions are all going on.
Okay. And are you practicing simulations also?
No, simulation is not yet started. Only MCQ I am revising.
Okay, but simulation will also come in exam, so try to practice some simulations also because MCQ will not be as much tough in the exam, but simulations will be somewhat challenging because they are somewhat confusing. So practice simulation also along with MCQs.
So do we going to do simulation practice also?
Yes, I will ask sir to conduct some simulation section also.
Okay, okay.
I
And
will.
by what uh, date we are targeting to complete it?
Okay, so actually, sir has given me this month to complete your revision.
Okay,
Yes, so I think we will complete by this month.
okay. So
Okay.
probably I'll speak with sir for the registration and all.
Yes, and you can also discuss with sir like how much is left because they are providing me the notes. So how much actually is syllabus is left to be revised, and Yes, you can discuss with sir also, like how much time will it will take to complete the revision because you need to do 2 to 3 times revision from your end also.
Okay. Okay. So what you suggest, recommend? A December end will we do, or a January first week or second week we should take it?
Okay, so if you are a confident enough, like you can sit for exam, then you can give in December. But if you have certain doubts, like if you think you need more revision, then please go for January because exam fees is too much high.
I know, I know. ठीक है. Okay, I'll speak with sir on this.
Yes, so I will suggest first complete your revision,
Hmm.
then give 1 or 2 mock tests,
Hmm.
and then book the slot. Like if you are confident enough, you can book the slot for 10 days after or 15 days after, depending upon your confidence levels.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
Yes.
Thank you.
So major part in your exam basically comes from your form 1040. One simulation will definitely come from your property transactions and all, your maker's depreciation, your section 179 deductions. So one simulations always comes from this topic. For C corporation, for S corporation and partnership, they can give you questions about stock basis or partnership basis. Okay, so practice accordingly. For business law is tough, but sometimes they ask you many questions from business law, and sometimes you will get only 2 to 3 MCQs only from this topic.
Got it. Got it.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so revise the topics from book only, because notes may not have covered all the topics completely. So okay, and if possible, you can also like if sir has given you Becker PDF also, then you can go from Becker. Okay, for once, if you can read from Becker for once. Okay, then otherwise, Sergeant is enough if you revise it 2 to 3 times, and practice is more important.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay, then. Uh,
Okay, ma'am.
okay, we will continue tomorrow's next topic.
Just send that this
Okay, I'm sharing.
notes in this WhatsApp group.
Yes, sure, I'm sharing.
Okay. 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 Done. Done. Thank you. See you tomorrow.
Okay, bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye
Bye.
bye.